Yo, what's going on? How you guys doing? Who do we got in the house today? Guys, it's been a pleasure. I missed you guys. It's been a couple weeks since we've been live. So I've been last 2 weeks. I just got back from London. So I had like this conference in the Dominican Republic with my business coach, Ben Newman, which was really, really cool, really inspiring. There's a lot of good people there. So like we were doing like, yeah, just it's a business conference. And I wasn't speaking. It was my coach doing it. So it was pretty cool. So we went to Dominican and just listened and took notes and, you know, got all pumped up and did what I did. And then we went straight from the Dominican and flew to London, me and the oil lord. And that was pretty cool. So I was speaking at this event, like a London investor show. It was actually really interesting because I've never been to London, and I really liked it. Like, man, it was fucking fun. It was awesome. You know, so I was in London and I was speaking, and there was a good audience there. And so I had a lot of fun. A lot of my students from different parts in Europe actually ended up coming there. So I had one of my students from Romania, a bunch of them that actually stay in London. One of my kids in the mentorship community, Simon Jones, he was there. So it was just this hot thing. I really had fun because, well, frankly, I just never been to London. And so I really enjoyed getting there and meeting and greeting with people, which is, I think, important. You know, when you're in trading, we're so in front of our computer like all the time, right? Like it's one of those things where you're just always in front of the computer, especially like if you're trading stocks, you know, you're trading in the morning and then you're trading fucking cryptos and you can be up all night, right? And so it's just you and the computer. And so I got to get out once in a while and meet the people and remind myself that, oh my gosh, it's just not me and my computers. There's a world of people out there. And so that's awesome. Martin Lewis, if you are in Fort Walton Beach, text me 517-974-1480. Let's meet up for some beers this week. And we'll chit chat about stocks, cryptos, whatever, man. I'm always looking to make friends, especially if you're local. That'd be awesome. There's a bunch of us local students in this area. So that would be awesome. Guys, let me know where y'all from. So DS from the Netherlands, what's going on? Alexander from the Serbian bush, baby. What's going on over in Serbia these days? Is it getting cold over there or what? Man, I've always wanted to go. That in Croatia. B-Mac from the OC. Okay. I got you, man. I love the OC, man. That's, if I had to pick one place to live in, that's where I would live. But frankly, I just can't do that damn time difference over there. The Dirty Jersey. Holy shit. The Dirty Jersey. I was born in New Jersey. Awesome. Richie Rich from fucking Bali. What is going on? Nice, man. So you're up late nights too. My man Jose from San Diego. What's going on? Jeff Saffel. What is up in the hood? Matt, what's going on from Orlando? Damn. Termination shot from the Sicily. Okay, the Italian stallion over here. All right. Well, guys, what's going on, man? You know how it is, Jordan, man. I'll come over anytime you give me an invite. I know you probably got the lockdown on the ladies. Actually, it looks like you've been wifed up lately, according to your Facebook. So we'll see what's going on. So, guys, welcome. It is a pleasure to have everybody here. I know it's been a couple weeks with all my travel, but let's talk a little bit about what's been happening in the crypto markets. We'll go over kind of where we see the market going. And then most importantly, we'll talk a little bit about some trading and get this thing shredded out and make sure that we're good to go. Hold on one sec. Let me just make sure I get my link out of my students here. And let's shred. So, guys, for those of you guys new, so just let me know if you're brand new into this, if it's your first time, and I'll give you kind of just a quick rundown. And for any of you guys who it's like their first time and you just don't know much about this stuff, I could send you like a little intro course or something like that. That'll kind of get you started on the lingo, because, you know, coming from the stock world, you know, you come into cryptos, look, trading is trading. Money is money. The way things move are the way things move. But the terminology can be a little bit, it can be a little bit stressful at times, right? You know, like in anything, right? You know, it's like trying to teach your mom how to use a fucking iPad, right? It's like, I teach my mom how to use an iPad. One day she's like, oh my God, it's like an iPhone, but bigger. What do I do? I'm like, Ma, it's just like your iPhone. You got to just chill. You got to do the same thing. No. It's like iPhone, but bigger. There must be more tricks to it, right? And then, you know, in the end, it ends up being the same thing. That's how cryptos are. You know, the stock market's your iPhone, and this is your iPad. It's the same thing, but not really. There's a couple more things that go into it. And so, you know, let me know if you're brand new, and I'll make sure to walk you through anything that you need. And in the meantime, I'll get you a good base of knowledge, and let's just have some fun. And I'll make sure to answer your questions along the way, and let's get cruising. Okay, so let's first take a look at what's been happening with the markets, and then we'll go into really kind of where we see things. So let me know when you can see my screen. And dude, we're just going to get this thing shredded. Let me close a little bit of this. I was shredding some stocks all day today. So now it's time to go back the other way. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get into this. So for those of you guys that are brand new, this website here that I'm looking at for trading is just called tradingview.com. So it's free. You guys can hop on here. They have some premium stuff. For the most part, you won't need it unless you're really shredding hard on a daily basis and you need some more features. Their free version is, frankly, will be more than sufficient for you at the moment. And then later on, you can always upgrade to a premium if you want. But for now, let's just go to the free version and you guys will be good to go. So let's talk a little bit about what's going down in the crypto market first. So remember last time we were on a couple weeks ago, you know, we were kind of talking about like how things have just been a little bit boring, right? So they've been a little bit boring, and that's natural. But in the last, you know, couple weeks, we've seen this epic run in Bitcoin. So last time we had YouTube Live, we were kind of looking at this 5,000 level, right? And we were hoping for a little bit more consolidation, let that 9 EMA catch up, and then, you know, we would see the next run in things. And so that's been actually pretty good. So Bitcoin is still really strong. We've broken over 5,000, run into the 6,000 mode, which is amazing. And I know right now the talk a lot, like if you listen to the news, if you listen to pundits, everybody say this is kind of like a bubble. But I don't necessarily see it like that. And I'll tell you one of the reasons why. When you see things that are bubbles, they usually are just going straight up, right? One of the things that we're noticing with Bitcoin, even though it's up, you know, 5 times this year, we've had just more of a steady trend of, right, higher highs and higher lows and breaking over key levels. But it's not like it went from, you know, 1,000 to 6,000 in a couple days, or even a month. What's happening is it thrusts and it goes on big runs, and then it sits around for a period of time, and then it thrusts and goes on a run, and it sits around for a period of time. So at the moment, all we have is just something that's a strong trend. And just to show you like why I wouldn't think it's a bubble just yet, you know, I trade stocks too, right? And you'll see stocks all the time do very similar things, right? This is NVIDIA. NVIDIA makes graphics cards, right? Boring. But, I mean, NVIDIA's up also 10 times this year, isn't it? But nobody really is sitting there going, oh, my God, NVIDIA's a bubble, right? It's not sitting there going, oh, my God, NVIDIA's a bubble. You don't look at Netflix or something that's gone up so much this year, or Amazon, and say, No, you don't hear anybody saying Amazon's in a fucking bubble, right? But all of these things are trending up the same exact way. Guys, it's not just Bitcoin in the world that goes up a lot, right? You have strong trends in a lot of things. And so that's one of the reasons why I don't personally think that Bitcoin is in some bubble because, well, frankly, we see strong moves like this in a lot of different instruments, guys. It's not just Bitcoin. Sure, Bitcoin's the one that everybody's talking about, but there are a lot of things that go up. And so right now, we're just kind of trending along in a steady manner, okay? So right now, the market looks okay. This is a technology that's still new and still getting adapted by a lot of people. And one of the things I always think about when something like this is, you know, I go to the grocery store or I'm cruising around, and one of the things that, you know, people are still asking me about it. Most people still don't exactly know what a Bitcoin is, and only a handful of them actually trade it. So, you know, you still have a big, fresh group of people that are flowing into this market on a daily basis. And that's really, really important because for anything to keep going up, what do you need? Well, you need fresh buyers, right? You need people to come in. And so the more talk you hear about bubble, 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 the better it actually becomes on a longer term basis because you need that kind of talk to fuel good returns. And so right now, that's where we see the market. So let's talk about some of the other ones because, in the moment, we have two other major coins that kind of run along. So this is Ethereum, right? So if you guys, let me get rid of all these damn lines here. Hold on. Boom, 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 remove, drawing to. So Ethereum is something that went on this massive trend for a long time, a monstrous trend. But now what you're looking at here is, right, just a big, long consolidation. So one of the things to always remember, so this thing went from about $6 to $400, right? So when you think about trading, guys, always think about it like this. Stocks, cryptos, they're like people, right? If you run too far, too fast, what do you have to do? You've got to take yourself a good long breather, right? You got to take a good long breather to recharge your batteries and rest. And that allows you to go on and take your secondary or third-dairy moves. I know third-dairy is not a word, but it just seems like the one that'll make the most sense for people from other parts of the world. So right now, what you're seeing is a big kind of consolidation in Ethereum, which is totally fine. But overall, the price action is still constructive. It's just kind of sitting around. So one of the things you'll see with Ethereum is it's just starting to build out some levels. All right. It's just starting to build out some levels. So what you'll see here is kind of, right, you've just got this kind of level right here. So always connect the tops, connect the bottoms, okay? And so what you have here is a range that's tightening. Guys, stocks, cryptos, they get their power from tight bases. They get their power from tightening ranges. And so as this range tightens, look, right now it was really loose. It popped up and it came all the way back down. So you've got a loose range. But what's happening over time is this range is starting to tighten. So this thing may pop up and then it's going to come back down. And then it should pop up a little bit more, but it's still going to come back. This next pop in Ethereum, it's not going to probably break out here. It still needs to tighten its range. But what you have to do, this is what I do. So you got to use your imagination, okay? In trading, it's very important to use your imagination. Start extrapolating what could happen in the next 2 weeks or what could happen in the next month. So as you keep kind of taking this thing down, what you'll start to see over time is, right, this is coming down this way. Then this is coming down this way. And what you start to see is that the range will start to contract. And so in a matter of weeks, it could be a little bit longer, but what you'll see is this range will contract and then it should break out. Probabilities say that it would break out. Now, in the meantime, how would you trade it? Well, when you're thinking about trading it, you've got to be really, really careful not to just kind of chase things into the middle of the range and then buy too high, because you're coming back and forth into the range. So when you're trading this, you want to be kind of trading this back and forth into the range till it starts to break out. And then once something breaks out and starts trending, that's when our momentum principles will start to come into play, okay? Where you start to use your 9 EMA and you start to use your regular momentum setups to come in and play this bad boy. So right now we're just in this big kind of long consolidation, which is totally fine, right? We made a lot of money going on this up run here and this one here, and now we're kind of coming back and forth. And look, on both sides of things, remember this. You know, both sides of things, remember this. We don't just trade things to the long side, right? As these things are coming back and forth, you can go long and short in Ethereum. Ethereum is actually fairly easy to short. Does anybody messed around with shorting this bad boy? So I found that you can't short it anymore on GDAX, but hey, Rodrigo, yes, send me an email. I'd love to talk about that. On GDAX, you can't short anymore, but on Kraken, you can definitely short. And so one of the things to remember is, you know, with cryptos, you have to have multiple accounts, okay? You have to have multiple accounts. So I use GDAX to primarily long this stuff, but I use Kraken as my vehicle to short it. Now, there are some other ones like BitMEX and stuff like that that you can use, but I use primarily Kraken to short. So let's talk about, so this one is still, it's got some work to do. Let's talk a little bit about Litecoin. Okay, so Litecoin is a little bit of a messier, Rodrigo, bull markets are actually the best times to short. It's not like you're marrying something for life, right? You're saying, okay, I'm going to short at 100, my target's 90, and my stop loss is 102. Your risk is just whatever you make it, right? It's not, hey, I'm going to hold this thing for life. If it works, it works. And if it don't, it don't, right? That's just how it goes. We trade patterns, we trade setups, but one of the things to do is you can't be a damn victim. You can't be a victim and just pray for longs all the time, right? A trader is a man, and he's a man of honor. And to be a man of honor, what do you got to do? You've got to be able to play both ways. Now, I will say Kraken does kind of suck balls in terms of their executions and stuff, but there's only a handful of spots to actually short. I'm not familiar with this whale club. I haven't actually, their website just looked, their website looked a little hokey, but I'll check that out and see what's going on here. But let's take a look at Litecoin here real quick. So Litecoin, after it went on this epic run to 100, you know, we had this nice consolidation here that it broke out of, and then it just died. You know, you could see, I was super excited about this. You know, a couple weeks or a week ago or so, you know, we were trading this bad boy. And I was pumped. I thought, man, this thing is ready to go. And it popped out over here, and I was like, holy shit, here we go. We've got this awesome shredder going, and it kind of just went kerplunk back to support. So now it's just stuck mid-range, guys. Mid-range is mid-pump, right? There's nothing good there that you can do. So it's just kind of back in the range. And so there's going to be no action in Litecoin for the time being because, well, frankly, it's just resting on support, but it's kind of right back into that original range that it was in. When it came out of this pattern, it really needed to fly, right? And so it really needed to fly and kind of hold over this, hold over these EMAs right here. Because it couldn't do that, you know, I'm a little bit more bearish on this thing. But look, over time, you may start to consolidate on this thing, and it may bust loose again. I think this thing's going to have to kind of break and hold 60 to really get going. So it's got to kind of come out of this wedge right here, break out over it and hold 60. And I think then we'll start to get the momentum to get this thing back into, the 70s or even higher. One of the things to remember with the Litecoin is, in April, this thing was $4, right? So if you think about just common sense wise, this thing was $4. It ran up to 100, right? It went nuts. And now it's got to rest, right? The farther something goes up, the more it's got to rest, right? And so that's very, very important when you're looking at this stuff is where did it come from? Where did it go? And that'll give you an idea of how much it kind of needs to consolidate. But I'd really watch this pattern right here to kind of get a gauge of when this thing is going to be ready to go again. It's got to come out of this range, but ideally I need to see it close over these EMAs right here. Because what happens when you get an EMA convergence is when you get an EMA convergence like that, what that tells you is that the trend is muddled. So guys, do you know what moving averages do? What's your classic use of moving averages? So your classic use of moving averages, and for mine, guys, for you guys that are new, add this on onto your side. So I use a 9 EMA, a 20 SMA, a 50 SMA, and a 200. Okay, so this is my daily charts. Yeah, I do more swing trades. You can do a lot of good swing trades with this stuff, Mr. Guy. So 9, 20, 200. And guys, if you're brand new, just go on TradingView. You hit these indicators and then just add it in. All right, just add it in. So you go here and then you can just type in moving and you're good to go, right? Well, I spelled moving wrong, but if I knew how to spell it, I'd be good to go. Okay, so now we're just, what's the classic definition of moving averages? What can you use moving averages for? So guys, moving averages serve two purposes, okay? Moving averages serve two purposes. Number one, moving averages are used to help you identify trends on a particular time frame. So your 9 and 20 day moving averages are your short-term trends. So the way you can tell the trend in a particular time frame is just by looking at the slope of the moving averages on that particular time frame to see what's going on a short-term, long-term basis. Your 50 is your intermediate. Your 200 is your long-term. So the first thing you can do is use this to identify trends. The second part is I use moving averages to act as areas of potential support or potential bounce spots. So you'll often see, certain moving averages will act as potential bounce spots for stocks or cryptos. Now, it's not always like you don't just sit there, right, and just buy something because, it hits a moving average, but you take it into conjunction with everything else that's going on, and you'll often find that they can be really, really good bounce spots for potential runs. So we use moving averages to identify potential areas of support and resistance, and then we use them to help identify trends, okay? So those are the two things. But when you think about like indicators in general, guys, so for those of you guys that are new in trading, when you think about indicators in general, indicators are what we use for confirmation, okay? They're used for confirmation. So what that means is we don't just buy something because an indicator gives us a signal, okay? Price is the only thing that pays in trading. So what that means is price patterns, price trends, and price action will tell you the whole story. So in any given trade, it's a 50-50 shot, right? It's a coin flip. You win, you lose. You buy, you sell, right? It's all a coin flip. It's just all 50-50, right? You win or lose, a stock goes up, it goes down. So how do you take something that's a guess and move it to something that's higher probability? Well, how you do that is by building a case. As a trader, you're essentially like a lawyer, right? You're like a lawyer. You're looking and saying, okay, why? I need to know beyond a reasonable doubt that this trade is worth my time, it is worth my capital, and my mental capital. So what happens is I need to know beyond 50-50 shot. So first, when we look at a ticker, we're looking for price patterns. That could be flags, base breakouts, flat top breakouts, right? So these are different patterns that we could be trading. So that takes it from something that's a 50-50 shot to something where we've nudged up the probability. Then we start to overlay our indicators, right? So we have moving averages, stochastics. You could use Bollinger Bands, right? There's a handful of things you can add in. So now what's happening as you start getting these things, volume, right? As you start getting these things, start to move and work in your favor, and you're lining them up. What you are doing is building your case and saying, is this worth my time, my money, beyond a reasonable doubt? I need to move that needle from something that's 50-50 to something that's higher, 60-40, 70-30. Because then what happens is now it's a numbers game. If you go and take 2 trades, sure, a couple of them will work or they won't work, right? It's just luck. But if you take 100 trades and you build a case for every single one, what's going to happen is you are going to start to let the probabilities work in your favor. And that's how you build up your accounts and start doing this for a full-time job or at least some good damn money, right? And so always think about building a case. So let's get into some of this action, okay? Let's get into a little bit of this action. So Litecoin's a dud. Ethereum needs a little bit of work. Bitcoin is flying, okay? So those are the different actions. So while this stuff is going on, right, the rest of the altcoin market has been, while Bitcoin's been really moving, the rest of the altcoin market has been just junk. You can see this thing, junk, no movement, right? KMD, junk. Stratus, junk. It's actually picking up the last couple days, but for the most part, it's been junk, right? Rise, junk. INFX, junk. ARC, junk. Okay, a little potential, but not really doing nothing, right? Junk, 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 junk. IOTA, ADX, all junk. So they're just all in consolidation right now. IOTA, junk city. Now this trigger bear has been going today. So there are a couple that have been, on the move periodically. This one doubled today. Some of the guys in the crypto chat were playing this today. I noticed, let me see here. Who was playing this thing? Some of the guys in the crypto chat were shredding this thing in the morning. Oh yeah, my man IO and some of these guys, Slay. So some of the guys were actually trading this, so it's pretty good. But beyond that, I haven't seen any really of these little small boys going, right? None of them have been really going. So you've got to kind of take some of these with a grain of salt. I do like this kind of Mona. I was watching this one yesterday. Shit, this one actually did go. Hot damn. So some of these got a little bit of potential. So out of the altcoins, I do like this Mona. This thing came out of its pattern yesterday. And it's having a little bit of a rest day. But I would say out of these, this one, the Trigger Bear, tend to be, that's true, 50-50 strategy, baby. This one tends to be the most powerful one that I can see. I've been watching this IOP for a little bit of time, but after that monster run to 6, it just hasn't done anything. I keep an eye on this Mona, this one may have a little bit of juice here. You know, if it can consolidate here for another day, you may see this thing run back into the sevens. But let's talk about this. So, like, what do we do when the Bitcoin has, you know, the momentum, right? So when the Bitcoin has the momentum, all these altcoins were kind of acting like they were in the dumper, which is totally okay. So, you know, how do you nail something like this? So this is what I do. This is called the sympathy play, okay? A sympathy play, guys, is essentially follow the leader, right? Anybody ever play follow the leader? So a sympathy play is just follow the leader. So what I tend to do is when I see a key breakout, so this is kind of how we traded this thing the other day when Bitcoin broke. So when Bitcoin broke, hold on here. So when Bitcoin broke over 5,000, let me just do a little rewind here. There we go. Good, good, good. So when Bitcoin was consolidating here over right under 5,000, this thing shredded like right in the morning, right? So I was this is 3 a.m. So we're not going to hit this shit. 3 a.m., I can't day trade that, right? As a longer term trade, yeah, if you're already in, it's great. But, if you're not and you're just looking to day trade, so I do a mix of day trades and swings, but I prefer day trading. It's more fun. It's just the action is there. So I missed the move over 5,000, which is totally okay. One of the things to remember, guys, with momentum, momentum begets more momentum. Momentum begets more momentum. And so what do we end up doing? And this is one of the classic setups that I use. So as this thing is just shredding over 5,000, all I'm looking for is an entry. Because this is how trading works. Once you break over a level, now the level has cleared. You have broken over resistance. So for the next 3 or 4 days, your intraday setups will work, right? As long as you're riding within the trend. The key is to find proper entries, right? And so what we won't need to do is just wait. So as this thing explodes over 5,000, now what I'm doing is I'm just waiting for a good consolidation. So you can see this thing comes back to the 9, pops up, and these are 15-minute charts, by the way, comes back, right? So I start to build out a little bit of a base here. So this is a very low-risk pattern. I like this type of pattern for the simple reason that you don't have to risk much. So as this thing, there it is. As this thing is consolidating right here, and I want that 9 EMA to come up right up under its trend line, guys. Very, very, very important, right? When you see the pattern emerge, make sure your 9 EMA is curling up right up under this, okay? It's the curls for the girls, right? So essentially it's just buy, set your stop under the base. So your risk is going to be about 50 bucks, okay? Your risk is going to be about 50 bucks. And one of the things with Bitcoin, guys, is you don't have to buy 1 full share, 5 shares. You can buy 0.5 shares, 0.2 shares, whatever you want to do. The key is to try to get those kind of 5, 10, 15, 20% pops when you're, when you can get them in a low risk environment. So as this thing breaks, I get this thing like what, 51.90, stop goes right up under here. And now we're off to the races, right? So now it's just a matter of managing your trade. And I'm not a big, I know a lot of people are into long-term stuff, and something drops, they just buy it, and then it drops, it buys more. Let me tell you something about, the drops, buy more kind of thing. If you have a fundamental belief in it, I get it. But I have seen over the years, a lot of people lose a lot of money trying to do that. My first accounts that I ever had in my life, and it's happened to me a couple times over the years, was when I saw something that I really liked. When I saw something I really liked, right? And it would just drop and drop and drop and drop. And, before you know it, you're not left with anything. So, if you think about like, I have some like even like biotech stocks. This is like Chipotle, for example, right? Chipotle's $700, right? So my dad used to have this in his IRAs and stuff forever. He loves Chipotle. All Indian people like Chipotle because we love Taco Bell. And when we eat Chipotle, we feel like we're fancier Taco Bell, like we've made it, right? They always say the next generation has to be fancier and better than the first generation. So Indian people now love Chipotle because it makes them feel like they're smarter than the people that the previous generation that ate Taco Bell. So, you know, this thing's at $700, right? And it just goes down and down and down and down and down and down and down. And so at some point, when does it stop, right? You don't always know. And so my preference is always to manage risk, manage risk, manage risk, right? And that's just how I'm personally wired. I'm in this thing to make money now and pay myself and then get back in. I don't sit around waiting because that's just not my style. I'm here to get rich as fuck, right? Which means I got to make money now, right? So I don't like waiting. So I won't do the average down thing because it's just not, you just can't manage your risk like that. So let's get back to this BTC trade. So I hit this thing over here. Stop goes right under this level. And I always give it a little bit more room. So if I'm thinking I only need a $40 stop loss, I usually add a few bucks to it just in case I get a little wick or something weird happens on these exchanges. But this is the shred opportunities, right? So, you know, you get this big spike up. I always like to scale out a partial position into it, and then I'll put a stop right where I bought it to limit my risk. And then it's just a matter of really letting this thing go. So then this thing really starts to develop. So now this is a potential another ad spot if you really want to. But I'm already in this thing. I got a good average, and I was being a little bit lazy. So yeah, I buy it a little bit before it broke. You know, right as it's tightening up. I always buy it a little bit. You can buy it at the breakout or a little bit before. The reason, Stefan, that I buy it a little bit before is that on GDAX, you don't have to pay commissions if you use limit order. And so like I try to get it before it starts moving too fast, because if you do a market order, say I wanted to buy 3 Bitcoins. Well, on GDAX, you buy 3 Bitcoins, your commission on the trade would be like $30. No joke. Might be even a little bit higher than $30, right? And so $30 this way, $30 that way, dude, you know, that's a good chunk of potentially your trade. And so I like to kind of get in a little bit before for the simple reason I'm trying to save a little. I'm trying to get a free trade. I know it's being cheap and super Indian, but the $60, $60, $60, $60, they add up. They add up. And the thing is, and why I'm doing it is, as your accounts grow, like what do you do when you have $50,000 that you're trying to move around, or $100,000? Dude, the commissions would just be fucking crazy, right? And so, like in stock trading, if I wanted to trade 100 shares of Google, for example, if I want to trade 100 shares of Google in today, right? I want to trade it. If I want to trade 100 shares of Google, where I trade it would cost me 27 cents. 27 cents. If I want to trade 50 shares of Google, it costs me 15 cents, right? If I want to buy 100 shares of Tesla, 27 cents. 200 shares of Tesla, 57 cents. Where 200 shares of Tesla, that's $60,000 worth of position. At GDAX, that would cost $50, more than that. $80, $100. I mean, so it'd be really important. So let's go back, you know, to the trade. So I'm already in this. This is a potential another ad. Guys, this is called the flat top breakout. When you get a thrust in a stock or a crypto and you test it and you test it again and test again, and it looks like there's a tabletop on it, if it looks like there's a tabletop on it and you have your EMAs pointing up right up under it, guys, make sure that 9 EMA is curling up under it. You want to see that curls for the girls, guys. You want to see the curls for the girls. That means that the pattern is tight enough where you can add again, and start shredding. Okay, flat top breakouts are a beautiful, beautiful pattern that you can use for stocks, cryptos, whatever you want. Okay, so now you start this next shred. So once this thing starts moving like this is where you want to start selling, right? So I sold out of mine at 57s, and then I sold out the last bit at 5,800, thinking that would be probably resistance would come at 6,000. But I was waiting for this type of move. So as these things are moving, this is what I want to see. But when you see this type, see how the straight up move right here? This is what we call like extended, right? This is your parabolic kind of push. 400 bucks in 1 hour, that's probably going to come back down a little bit. So I want to be selling off into this. And the one thing with crypto trading is, remember, if you have one share of Bitcoin, you can sell 1/10, 1/4, all you want, right? You can keep scaling out of this thing and try to get what you're going to get, right? Now, this is all a day trading setup, right? If you were swing trading, you know, you're going to be essentially hit this thing and put your stop here and, right, you just let this thing ride. But as a day trader, what we're doing is we're shredding on a constant basis, right? We're in, we're out, we shred, we book the profits, we move on to the next one. That's just how we do things, right? There's just a difference in them. I believe that you have to have a combo of day trading and swing trading to make money. Because in swing trading, you may be sitting around for months, right? And say something goes up 50% over a month or two. Well, that's not a good return to me, because I want to be shredding every day, right? And that means if I'm just sitting around and I made 30, 40% over 3-4 months waiting on this thing to go, that's not a good return for me, right? I need to be taking income on a daily basis when I see patterns, and then have some longer term holds that, you know, are a little bit more slow, and they just, you know, you hold them and, right, you double your money or whatever over time. But I like to be shredding on a daily basis, because that's how you build income, right? If you wanted to do this as your job, well, you need to pay yourself every day, every week. So when you're investing, you can't really do that, right? Because you're always sitting around waiting. And guess what, guys? Life does not wait for those that wait. It just doesn't. So you've got to always have a mix of different things you're doing and different strategies. You got to have some long-term plays, sure, but then you got to go in and make sure that, you know, you're able to capture income, right? And so as this thing is going, so this is how I play the momentum. So as this thing is starting to shred, okay, I know that once this thing starts to go, the money is going to start flowing into the other stuff. So what we need to be doing is, as these things, as the Bitcoin is starting to go, I'm looking for the secondary plays. I'm looking for the secondary plays to get in. So as Bitcoin starts to go, all of a sudden Litecoin starts to shred, right? And so I missed this whole kind of run here. I'm like, I was goofing around. That's the thing with cryptos that I kind of don't like, is that, you know, you have to, sometimes if you're not paying attention, it's like, the good thing is, you know, in the chat room, these guys are always talking. So they're always pinging me if something's going. So now I have a full-time radar of people that are telling me what's going on. But this thing starts to shred. Now, this is the thing to remember with trading, guys. That's good, Matt. Go fuck yourself too. So now, this is the thing to always remember. Just because you have something that runs, don't think that you missed it, okay? Don't think that you missed it. One of the important parts about trading is to understand that things will always come back and give you a chance to reload, okay? Nothing really just pops up once and then just dies. So I know this thing's going to go because the Bitcoin started going, and so the money will start to flow into the other stuff. The momentum begets more momentum. But I missed this initial run. So now what I've got to do is wait for a secondary run, right? A secondary run. So this thing comes back, pops up a bit, but it's still too early, right? To build out a pattern, I kind of need multiple tests, right? So it's got to come down. It's got to make a higher low, but I need multiple tests to really, really get going. So as this thing starts to consolidate a little bit, right, and you build out your pattern, well, now I've got myself in a nice kind of shred opportunity. So I hit this thing right here on the breakout. Stop just goes right up under here. So I'm risking a buck max, all right? I'm going to risk a buck max for hopefully a big run, you know, up to the 70s or wherever it may go. So this thing starts to pop up. And as always, a day trade. So you have to discern. Are you in this for a day trade or a swing trade? Okay. And the reason you want to do this, guys, is that the sell rules for day trading and swing trading are different. If you're swing trading, meaning you're looking for a multi-day hold, well, you're holding for till you get to potential targets. Okay. When you're day trading, you're hitting it, you're scaling out, taking income as things get extended, and then you're re-hitting it. Okay. That is the nature of day trading. So I prefer day trading. If I can't get the low price, then I just day trade it. So I hit this thing right here. Stop goes right up under here. You can see, right, you got 3 tests of resistance. You got your EMAs curling up. You got the curls for the girls, right? And you have this old high here of 59. So you've got $3 of potential reward for maybe $1 of risk minimum, right? And so a 3-to-1 reward to risk, guys, is an appropriate measure of risk. Why? Well, if you have a 3-to-1 reward to risk on all your trades, you could bat less than 50% on all your trades and still win, right? So always think about this. So let's think about numbers for a hot second. So hold on. Let me show you why reward to risk is so important. So imagine you have 3-to-1 reward to risk. Okay. Say you take 1,000 trades. Okay. Now, 500 of those trades, you make $300 on. Okay. And 500 of the other trades, you lose. You lose $100. Okay. So what do you have here? So on your winning trades, you've made approximately 150,000. I'm doing this without commissions, and on your losing trades, what do you have? You have 50,000 in losses. But now, even as an average trader, meaning your win percentage, you are still a profitable trader as long as you can adhere to good reward to risk principles. You know, that becomes huge. Now, why the numbers will work out is, look, say you're just betting 40%. You have 400 trades at $300, right? And that's 120K in wins. Now you've lost 600 times, so you're really batting something low, but you lost $100. You limited your risk on each one. You've lost 60K. So you are still net up. And so when I'm looking at the pattern, I'm always looking at potential areas where I can sell into, like where was the old high? So when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, okay, I've got $3 of potential upside minimum, right? That's just a first potential target for accepting about $1 risk. And right, according to our numbers, as long as we can keep 3-to-1, even as an average trader, I can make money. And so once this thing starts to shred like this, I'm watching it, and I always like to sell into big spikes. Guys, when you see big spikes like this, 4, 5, 6 green candles, and this is for day trading, you want to be selling into those spikes, especially if they're around previous areas of resistance. It becomes important because, you know, at any given time, they could come back down. So I sell off half into this. I sell off another quarter into this, and then I put a stop in my buy price, and I go to sleep, and I wake up, and I'm stopped out. No big deal. No big deal. Now, remember, though, this thing has started its momentum. So once it started its momentum, I want to always be on watch for more ads, right? And so as this thing starts to really develop, you know, what you'll start to see is bigger and bigger patterns start to develop. And so as this thing goes, what you'll start to see here is some really, really interesting opportunities to get back into this thing. So I added, as this thing broke over the VWAP, I added a partial position here. And as this thing started to really shape out, you know, we added 1/4 or 1/2 of another position, waiting for that kind of bigger picture move to happen. And then lo and behold, the next morning, you start to see the shred come in, right? So you can see here, what do you have here? Tap, tap, test, test, test. This thing finally breaks out, and now you're starting to get some real momentum. It breaks over this 61, and you can see right here, you've got just a nice level right over there. You got your 9 EMA coming up under it. We're already in, right? This can be another ad spot, by the way. And then it's just a matter of shredding. And so now it's just big spike, sell some, second big spike, sell some again, and keep some for lotto is, you know, usually the nature of the game. But one of the things to kind of think about is, look, if you had even 100 shares of this, right? If you had even 100 shares of this, if you can catch a $10 rip, what do you make? $1,000, right? So you don't have to. And that's the thing I do like about cryptos over stocks, is that in cryptos, you can have 100 shares of something and catch a really nice rip. You know, you could have 200 trades of something and catch a nice rip, you know? And so like in stocks, sometimes you have to have a bigger account. And so, and you got to use margin and all of that type of stuff. Let me show you how to add the second chart in, brother. Hold on 1 second, my man. I got you. So right here, if you do layouts, so like this is one layout. So if you have this set like this, it'll just be one. If you go here and click the next one, that's 2. And then see, you can kind of split these up. You could do it like this. You know, some people do them like these if they want to see multiple time frames. So some people, I have some students of mine, they like to look at daily charts, and then they want to look at like a 5-minute and a 15-minute to really, really nail them down. You can totally do that. That actually doesn't look so bad. You know, I like to kind of just look at 2. But I also have another one that's like a 6-window layout where like I have, say I have 6 coins that I'm watching, right? Say I have 6 coins I'm watching. Well, like when the altcoins are hot, and they'll heat up again, guys. They'll heat up again at some point. But say you have 6 coins really heating up, then now you can have kind of 6 on here and really, really get organized. One of the things that I'm noticing about crypto trading, guys, is you have to be really, really organized, okay? So, you know, you've got to watch these things. You got to have them on the chart, set your alerts, and because they can pop out of nowhere. And if you get the inkling that something's about to break, when the Chinese markets are closing, you know, 3, 4, 5 a.m. or whatever, you start to see crazy runs in certain stuff. So if you get the inkling that something's about to break and you have a low risk shot, you know, I'll buy and set my stop, and then I'll swing it into the close and make sure that, you know, I'm able to catch that run. Because frankly, I tried this other thing of like staying up all night and trying to wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning to, yeah, it's live, baby. It's live. Dude, nobody watches the Rolling Stones on YouTube, baby. You've got to see it live, right? You got to see it live one time in your life, and that's what this is. This could be that one time for you. So what I was saying is you got to be really organized. You know, if you think something's about to break out, Make sure you can buy it and set your stop loss and then see what happens when you wake up. Because frankly, dude, it's hard waking up. I don't know about you guys, but you know, I thought as you get older, you're supposed to be able to wake up earlier, right? My fucking grandpa wakes up like 4 a.m., but it doesn't seem to happen for me. Man, I need to sleep in a little bit. If I have to wake up before 6, I get a little bit cranky. So, guys, those are just a couple trades that I wanted to go over. I know a lot of you guys are new. Really feel free to email me. You know, feel free to email me. This is my personal email. Feel free to email me with any questions you have. Yeah, we do have a Bulls on Crypto Street chat room. It is, let me find, we do have a chat room. You can go here and it'll be good. And one of the other, it's a fun time. One of the things always, we'll have kind of a class. I'm making a class right now that you guys will like, that'll kind of go over all the different stuff in cryptos, from how to open accounts to margins and different things, brokers to use, exchanges. But dude, Michelle, I appreciate it. Thank you. I aim to please. That's the first nice thing any woman said about me in months. I'm just kidding. No, I appreciate you coming in here. Feel free to just email me and, you know, let me know if you have any questions. I have students all over the place, but I answer everybody. That's just my nature. You know, if I see an email or a phone call come in, I answer it. Hey, the guy in Fort Walton, 517-974-1480. And guys, by the way, if you ever want to text me or do something, don't hesitate to just use the phone. You know, shit, that's just the way it goes. I'll make sure to get back to you in a timely manner. You know, I'm always walking around doing stuff. So thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Guys, does anybody have any questions? I know they were coming in really fast. I tried to answer them as I was going, but you know, what can you do? So make sure whatever questions you guys have, I still got a few minutes to go before I do class. As you know, I do boot camp class 4 nights a week, our 60-day boot camp. And so, you know, I'm boom. You know, thanks, Kent. How you doing, by the way, Kent? Long time. Matt, yeah, we use support and resistance, of course. Yeah, I use moving averages and price supports. You can use Bollinger Bands too. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you. Dude, guys, I don't even know what to say, man, except thank you. I appreciate it, man. I will be on next week, and dude, we'll get back into this again. Michelle, hey, whatever you've started, make sure you finish it. But, you know, whenever you need help, just reach out. I'm always around. Hey, Stefan, so VWAP, I tend to use VWAP as a measure for deeper trades. So, like, when something explodes right off the bat, the first pullbacks tend to be towards the 9 EMA. But as something gets really extended and you've kind of had a couple of flags, what you'll see is you need deeper pullbacks. And so that VWAP becomes an important area to watch. Boot camp class is always 8 p.m. Eastern time. We have every single class is recorded. It's recorded. It's archived. So, you know, it's an awesome thing. My students have lifetime access to my boot camp. I have students from 3-4 years ago that'll come into class tonight and learn. You know, markets are changing and they like to hear from everybody, you know, and so it's pretty cool. Hey, Master, I don't know if Litecoin is the next Bitcoin. I really don't know. None of us know these things, right? You know, once they start to do what they do, we ride them, but you know, that's all we can do, right? So it's just kind of one of those things. Stephen Ledesma, I've had over 100 students stay at my house. I do in-home boot camps all the time. a couple times a year. Dude, it's like salute the short style. You know, I have a bunch of guys come in the house, well, townhouse, and I got 4 bedrooms here and bunk beds, and we put them all in together. And dude, we just have fun for a week, and we learn. We trade during the day. We drink beer. I live next to this beach bar, so we get drunk on dollar beers for a few hours. We come back and do nighttime class. It's pretty fun. You know, if you're ever interested, you know, definitely just send me a message. Salute Your Shorts was an epic show. Salute Your Shorts. So Christian, brother, VWAP is something that I use intraday, but it is not something that I use on a weekly or daily chart, just intraday. Yeah, guys, just, you know, message me if you have any questions. You know, we do boot camps all the time. Our online boot camps, of course, are still live. They're via webinar. And then when I get free time, I have people come to the house and do stuff also. I really, Nomadic Trading Group, cool. I'm not familiar, but I will definitely check them out. I love cheap beers. Hey, Jason, no, I'd love to have you. Hey, Matt, what do you think about VTC? Do you suggest? Matt, VTC, let me take a look, brother. So, you know what? I learned trading when I was in college. I wasn't any good, but I do think that those years of just experience of, you know, doing trading while I was in college, actually, I think that it was helpful. It was helpful because, you know, trading is about screen time. Okay, you have to learn a method, but then you have to practice it, right? You've got to learn it and you've got to own it, and so you need a certain amount of screen time to really get going. And so, you know, it doesn't hurt to pop on a simulator or do something like that. You know, so this, by the way, I wasn't familiar with this one, but this one actually does look pretty good. I wouldn't buy it right now. You missed the breakout was right here. Now it's got some momentum, so you got to let the pattern kind of develop. But I'm definitely going to add that to my list too as something to watch. I guess we'd have to trade this at BTC. I hate these fucking pairs. Because then, you know, to do the pairs, you always got to keep BTC in your account. Hey, Insurance Casino, you can call me anytime, man. You can call me anytime, or I have thousands of students, and you can talk to any of them. And by the way, you know, in my chat room and stuff like that, I post my P&Ls every day. So I trade live in front of everybody every day. So I trade live in front of everybody every single day. So it's kind of cool because, you know, I have my screen share up, and, you know, I'm alerting and trading live. I'm on video, audio, but, you know, I post my stuff every day, whether I win or lose. You know, a lot of times I lose, but, you know, that's the nature of things. Some days it's ugly, you know, not ugly, but I try to limit myself to, you know, certain types of. Like this day, I was just trading awful. So I was up like $1,000, and I left for the gym, and I came back for one damn trade. I came back for one trade, man. I'm just so stupid sometimes. So I was up, and, you know, I was having a trouble that day. You could see, like, I lost 800 and I made, and I was just kind of grinding it along. But I was up a few $100, so nothing special. I came back end of the day after the gym, and I tried to short this piggy Equifax. I just think because they fucked so many Americans with that stupid security breach, I just wanted to short them. But I held it a little bit too long, and I made a mistake. I lost all my profits. And, dude, my students have to see my melt. You know, they have to see it on video. It's you know, they see it all. It's kind of cool. But, you know, look, I mean, I have a lot of days that I'm up and down. And, you know, some days I'll make a couple thousand. Some days I lose, you know. But I'm pretty consistent. I will say that. I'm not one of them guys that go out and make $10,000 in a day or something, but You know, I've had those type of days. I just, as I've gotten older, I don't like trading like that. You know, the big size and all that. Now I just try to make money every day. So let's talk a little bit about trig here. Let me take a look. So I know some of these guys were trading it earlier, but I didn't see anything I liked on it. Let me see here. Hold on. So the Triggy Bear, it did come nice. It had a nice pop off this lows and it broke over these EMAs. But see, you got smacked into resistance now. So till you kind of close back above this resistance level, you know, you just got to be more careful with it. But, dude, it had a big volume today, and it came right off this kind of support. So that's good. So this is promising, but I wouldn't be buying it just right here. You know, so that's where you've got to just be kind of mindful of it, is that I wouldn't just buy it right there. You know, you've got to let these kind of patterns develop into what they got to do. So you can see here, you're starting, you popped over here. Now you've pulled back to some supports. So you've got to let this pattern kind of build out here and then see if it's going to make the attack. I'm not familiar with Robinhood, guys. I know I've heard of it. You know, everybody's, but it's an ICO. So, I mean, do they even have anything yet? So one of the things that'll happen is, so I'll request the access on this. So it's just an ICO right now. So they don't have necessarily the exchange ready, I don't think, do they? Like, can you make trades? See, it's still under development. So, you know, that's kind of the thing. So Robinhood. I get the idea. I like the idea of this. You know, it looks nice. But once again, you know, it's not ready yet. So, you know, we've got to just kind of be careful with this stuff. Yeah. I know it's Robinhood. Hey, Matt, you don't necessarily need candlestick patterns. It just might be, I don't think so. So this Robinhood, guys, is a little bit tricky. You know, if you go on their website, it's like, well, it's not up yet. So you can't actually trade on it yet. So it's like request early access. So I'll try it out. So I'll try it out and see what's going on. If they give me early, I'll message them and see if they'll give it to me. But otherwise, yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't know what to make of it. You know, I get the idea of zero fees. The problem with zero fees for spot trade, margin trading up to 10x. I'm not a believer. Look, when somebody offers you 10x margin, all you're going to get is a bunch of rookies blowing up their accounts. I think this is what happens with Kraken. The service gets slow because they get over margined, and then they're like, they have a lack of liquidity. Comments are open. I see underwriting. We'll see. Look, you don't know till you know. This could be the hot exchange that we're looking for, or it might not be, right? What we have to always do is just keep an open mind, try it. You know, it doesn't hurt to put $100 or $500. Try it. See how the fills are. See how the customer service is. Guys, customer service is very important in cryptos because money goes missing all the time. I fucking made a mistake and threw away like $5,700 on Polynex because when I was brand new, I made $5,000 profit. I didn't know USD and USDT were different because I didn't actually study anything about cryptos. You know, my thing is, if I see something I like, I just trade it and figure it out. So I didn't read any rules that USD and USDT are different. So I got all this USDT, and I was sending it over to my Coinbase to, you know, cash out a little bit, and the money just disappears. And Polynex took 60 days to reply back to me. And only after I threatened them with all sorts of odd language did they really ever reply back to me. And the reply was, hey, man, You didn't send it to us. You sent it somewhere else. Talk to those people. I'm like, well, where did I send it? Right? And so it's just gone. Hey, you know what? And I don't know. I'm not sure about Robinhood, but I will try it, and we'll see. Everybody's got to prove themselves, right? So it's got potential, and that's all that we can ask for. Look, in the crypto space, because all these exchanges are they're all up to some funny business, right? So we'll have to try them out. The one thing is with zero fees. So when you have zero fees, there's always a gimmick. So this is how it usually works with brokers with zero fees. There's a spread on every stock, right? Or every crypto. What happens is between the bid and ask, they run a little game, right? And they sell off that order flow to somebody that's either betting against you, some type of market maker, HFTs, algos, whoever, right? So when you see that spread, and the spread widens, and it starts moving around, you ever like put in a limit order on the ask, and then all of a sudden your fucking limit just moves up immediately? Isn't that crazy? Right? So that's the type of stuff that happens when you have zero fees, because they have to make money. So they make the money on gaming the spreads and giving people bad fills and stuff like that. And so the money you save in commissions, you may lose it on not getting the best fills. So I will try the Robinhood if they give me early access, and I will even message them and tell them, you know, we have a big group of people that may want to try it, and I'll see, and I'll break it. I'll hammer it with some trades, and I'll try to break it, and I'll give them my feedback. So guys, I do got to get going. Once again, dude, don't feel free to email me, and if you got questions on this or that, or you just want to talk shop. I mean, people hit me up with all sorts of weird requests. So it's okay. I would love to hear from anybody, and you know, message me if you got a chance. And my phone number is 517-974-1480. So you can always give me a call, or you know, I've got 10 employees at my company now. So, you know, whether it's me or somebody else, you'll always be able to get what you need. Guys, peace in the Middle East. I will see everybody next Wednesday. And as always, I'll be patrolling online, making videos, and, you know, chatting on the Twitter. I love you guys. Bam. Dun, 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 dun.